G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a minigun of Modern Warfare. That's what the MW stands for. It's based off the miniguns from Modern Warfare and is not a port of the weapon. It's something new entirely, which is kind of interesting. And look at it right now. It's a odd piece of weaponry, don't you think? It's a little bit futuristic, but also a little bit sort of bulky and retro. I think I can dig it. Not a terrible design, and there's a lot of customization when it comes to using this thing. The animations are that of the minigun. There's custom sounds to go along with it as well, and if you use this thing in first person, it blocks half your view, so you know, a little bit of Institute rifle vibes about it. So we'll go into the attachments, and you can have a drum magazine for 350 cartridges, which is a fairly decent ammo capacity for such a high rate of fire weapon. I still think we'll get through those pretty quickly though, regardless. Now, for the barrels, right now I've got a standard dual barrel. Obviously the English is not the first language of the mod author here, so we'll just look by the little bit of a typo errors in this thing. But you can have standard barrels and also 50 caliber barrels, which despite being 50 BMGs, they don't actually add a whole lot of extra damage compared to what you'd get out of your 5mm. But the strongest variant of this would be the heavy 6-barrel 50 cals, giving you lots of higher rate of fire, lots of range, a little bit more accuracy as well, and that little bit of extra damage sure helps as well. Now, we could have a heavy handle or a standard handle. That'll give us a slightly better focus and sighted accuracy. That's helpful for a minigun. We'll throw that one on. Next up, we've got the sights. Right now, we've got the iron sights attached onto this thing. And there's also variants of blue, green, and red for these things, and also anti-aircraft sights, a little bit reminiscent of the version that you'll find on the minigun in the vanilla game, except a little bit more complex. There's more lines and stuff circling that looks like a spider web sort of sitting on your anti-aircraft sights. There's also blue, red, and green variants of that as well, but there's also holographic sights, which gives you a very futuristic COD Ghost looking holographic sight setup, where it's just a hologram cast between two little bits of metal there. You can't see it in the preview at the moment, but it's there when you see it. There's also versions of this have circle pine, circle scale, circle or cross, blues, greens, and red, and everything. And lastly, you've got a more traditional looking reflex sight. It looks a little bit like what you'd find on a 10mm pistol in this game, except a little bit grown up, made to suit the Modern Warfare minigun, as it were. This one slightly gives you different, better focus and sighted accuracy, which, you know, these are sort of aesthetical choices. Unfortunately, there's no option for a scope on this thing, so if you want to use this thing at longer ranges, then you're kind of out of luck with it. But we'll go for a holographic sight because that is the least constricting on our view for a very large weapon indeed. So we want to maintain as much vision as we can on our enemies, and we'll go for something like a green circle. Pretty basic, I think, but I think it'll do the job just fine. And now, you can throw a suppressor on this if you want to. We'll get a little bit of extra damage thanks to Ace Operate, which is always pretty helpful. Decrease the noise emitted from firing a weapon. That's helpful. Usually you don't see those on miniguns, and in real life you'd never see them on miniguns because the suppressors just simply wouldn't last long enough to actually be useful for this. But yep, we're doing stealth heavy gun and miniguns today, and I don't think I don't think any of us saw that one coming. There's also options for controlling recoil, but they cost you a range a little bit too much, and they don't give you extra damage or stealth capabilities as a sort of a bonus to them. Legendary effect provided by a legendary modification. Explosive on this thing would turn it into something crazy powerful, but we'll leave that. And you can throw on decals on the side, including Astro, Brotherhood of Steel, Crazy, Empty, Flag, UA. What's that, UA? Is that... I'm not familiar with that. I want to say that's maybe Ukraine, but it's got like a crest on the middle of that. There's also a UK flag, which we're going to throw on for Lily Allen. And also the characters is supposed to be British, but there ain't no British accent people in Fallout. Actually, there's a few, but they're all ghouls for some reason. There's also T-45, there's Sam, whoever that is, a miner, and not the one that Dream likes, the people that pull minerals out of the ground. There's also Liberty, which is the Statue of Liberty, one of the propaganda posters back from Fallout 3. You can barely see it, but you'll just have to take my word on it. And a skull and crossbones, and there's also a girl decal. I believe that is the Abraxo cleaner. You can probably barely see it if you're on a small screen, but again, just take my word for it. And you can throw in a laser pointer. We're going to make this one green because it'll match our reflex sight or a holographic sight. There it is on the side there. Looks a pretty prominent line laser pointer there. And you can throw on some even more decals. Yep, more UK representation, please. Thank you, Lily. And now you can throw in a big old blast shield on the front, which will increase your protection. There's also dark versions of these if you want to have a... Oh, there's even more UK flags for Queen and Country. Yes. Okay, awesome. So we'll throw the heavy dark one on, but there's also a brighter one if you feel like it, middle, and also little ones if you feel like it. But looks like we'll be able to tank a little bit of damage with this gigantic blast shield on the front, so that's pretty helpful. We'll move on. And you can throw on a different muzzle attachment, including a meat grinder, if you want to use this thing as one of those spinny chainsaw miniguns where you just shred stuff with the stuff on the front. This would be that variant of that. It looks a little bit cleaner than your standard minigun, perhaps a little bit better balance, so the minigun won't rotate everywhere and mess things up. There's also versions of this that will give you stronger construction, and Tesla on top of that, which gives you a little bit of energy damage. I'll take all of the damage we can get out of this thing at the moment, and this thing's almost weighing 60 pounds from these modifications, so yeah, don't worry, Lily can bench about the weight of a Ford Falcon, so she'll be able to carry this pretty easily. And more decals you can choose, and we'll throw it on yet another UK flag. Does that put one on the shield? Yes, I think we can find a fourth. Yep, more UK. Lily Allen's my wife. Did you know that? She doesn't know it, but you do. Alright, so we've got pure steel options or rusty steel, which we see now. We're going to make this one pure. We'll clean it up nice and well. British Steel. That's a Judas Priest reference. It's a good album. Check it out. And I believe that is everything. There's also some leftover materials from... this is all Creation Club stuff, which doesn't appear to be compatible with this weapon at all because it doesn't use any vanilla textures to swap those on. So there you go. There's our Modern Warfare minigun in all of its shiny UK tea-sipping glory, and we'll get started. There is one version of this weapon that spawns in-game. You'll find it in the Sanctuary basement here. In Sanctuary, you'll find it tucked behind a house right here. And if you've got a mod that already changes what would be in the interior of this, you might find it to be incompatible. So if it doesn't show up and you've got another mod that changes what's in here, then here's your inconsistency. You'll have to use console commands to grab this thing. If you do, there's our minigun. We'll modify that one to be a little bit different, perhaps non-suppressed, so we can get a little bit more range out of it. And then we'll shoot people for reals this time. Righto, welcome back to the Immersive Gunners Plaza, and here is our great big minigun of Modern Warfare in first person. And fun fact about this thing, it's so big in your face you can literally punch yourself in the face with it if you decide to aim down fast enough. I've got a black eye already, but don't you worry, I've got the war paint on so you can't even see it. So take a quick look down sights of this thing, you'll see that it is waving around a little bit, and I feel like that's a probably a realistic take because, you know, holding up this giant 60-pound or whatever minigun might cause a little bit of strain on your arms, your shoulders, your back, your legs, literally everything. So a little bit of waving going on. I don't think it would be like that if I was in power armor. But like I said, we can bench a Ford Falcon of weight. This is nothing. This is like holding a can of Coca-Cola. Here's our great British version of the minigun here. And here's a little tidbit about a little bit of trivia. If you've ever seen XCOM, you might already know this, but the character I'm playing at, and her name is Lily. She's named after Lily Allen, but her last name is Clarkson, named after Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear, and would later to be the Grand Tour. So she's made up of my two favorite British people. That's where her names come from. It's a very British sounding name, don't you think? Anyways, here's the second version that I made. Rusty British steel on this one, but instead of British colonialism, we've got Jolly Roger on the front. We've also got a patriotic T-45 man holding up a flag. The Abraxo Cleaner girl is there as well, and Lady Liberty, so a little bit more of the US version here. Unfortunately, there's no Australian flags, but the Australian flag is made up of a quarter of the Union Jack, so, you know, if we put four of them together, 4 quarters is 1 whole, so, yep, Australia, mate. And I guess we can just get started. We're going to be doing this from back here. We've got a suppressed minigun, so you can bet your ass that I'm going to take advantage of this as much as I possibly can. And this is why I kind of wanted a scope on this thing. What I've found through preliminary testing is that this thing, there's not a lot of spread. So if we just zero in our targets and keep the sneak criticals rolling, we can do a pretty good job at knocking these guys out. We're getting all of this extra bonus damage. Granted, we are losing a lot of that thanks to the fact that we're extremely out of range of this thing, but I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. As you can tell, when they do come into range, we just absolutely shred them. And it's not every day we get a suppressed minigun to play with, so you know I've got to indulge on this thing, at least while I can. And I don't think it'll be lasting too much longer. Oh boy. You just dream of having shots line up like that with a minigun, that's for sure. Also, utilizing the tactical lean mod here. And you'll see that as they're getting in close, you can't really notice it from back there, but they've got a little bit of electrification going on, a little bit of electrocution. That would be the, yes, that would be the Tesla attachment that I put onto it. And now that we are fully in full danger now, we may as well just go up to these guys. Now, I've noticed there's a bug with the sound on this thing, and I'm not talking about the bug where the weapon keeps firing over and over. If your burst sustains for long enough, the sound will just literally go away. Doesn't help when I go into slow motion there, but we've got an opportunity for a long burst here, so we'll take it. And there it goes. I can only hear the motors of this thing now. And it's back. I just think maybe the timing of the sound markers is a little bit off. That might be an easy fix. Just make it loop properly and that'll be fixed. I don't think that's going to be too hard of a fix. But okay, so here's the thing about miniguns in Fallout 4. They may not do a whole lot of damage. I mean, this is doing fine, but if you let them rip in vats, oh my goodness, they will kick ass. Yes, please. Look at them jumping around. I see you there. So, with 4 VATS criticals, we can eliminate those guys in, what, 10 shots each? So, 40 shots for 10 kills. For a minigun, that's pretty damn efficient. I will say what I do like about this particular minigun is there's basically 0 spread. You'll find with the standard minigun, it's low damage combined with its pretty poor accuracy, meaning bullets will just fly everywhere and not towards your target. Makes it feel particularly impotent. They fixed that in Fallout 76. They gave the minigun some teeth in that game. It's very good, but unless you're using a minigun with the explosive legendary effect in it in this game, you will probably find that it's going to be lackluster, even on the survival difficulties. There's an Assaultron there. Didn't expect to see that. The Rust Devils, I think, are a little bit ahead of schedule, but that's fine. Securitron Reaper, that's a cool name. With the Securitron mod, just adds stuff into the level list for the dudes. This is like a proper bullet hose sort of thing here. Quite like the tracers. I'm not sure if that's a minigun thing or if it's the tracer mod that I've got installed that actually makes that happen. Anyways, like, I'm barely taking any damage from these guys. It'd be interesting to see just how much extra damage I can tank with this thing equipped when I'm getting hit in the head by Swan's mighty gun. But look, well, not gun, but you know, his gigantic anchor, which is already big enough before he gets upscaled, but what can you do, eh? And despite all of the shooting and killing we've done, we're still not at full criticals, but that's okay. We can go for a cheeky door breach maneuver as I fumble around with this thing. I swear I installed the easy lockpicking mod, so I didn't have to mess around like that, but never mind. I gotta say, the sound, both suppressed and unsuppressed, could probably be used for some work. It seems very flat. There's no bass about it. It's full treble mode, so, you know, it's... Hang on, I'm not even done yet. It's full Megan Trainor treble mode. No, wait, no, she was all about that bass. We need more Megan Trainor in this thing. She's still making music? Probably. Her music still sucks, probably. Alrighty. That was pretty good. But you know what? We can do better. I'm going to mow down the Swan with this thing and see if the great British Empire can rise again against a super mutant. I don't know, I'm just going with that. So I think Fallout London's coming out pretty soon as well. I think Letitia Lemon's in it, so I'm looking forward to hearing her work, because she's a good voice actress. Actually, want to see if I can get her to voice Lily for the follower mod. I reckon that'd be alright. Because she does a really good job as, what's-her-face in that little Fallout 76 podcast that I listen to. I talk to the, well, I sort of interact with them on Twitter, give them my support, but it's called Once Upon a Wasteland. It's a very, let's say, modern love story. But, you know what? It's not terrible. It's not like a soulless corporation sort of deal. Anyways, yeah, not corporate pandering is what I meant to say as I sort of mess around with the Swan there. He's done a little bit of damage to me, but sort of run out of all of my crits before. I think he almost killed me then. Ran out of my AP bar there. I need to get those back so I can get my crits happening. There we go. Wow, those crits were nasty. And I don't think the mysterious stranger can take any credit for that one. He just showed up and witnessed that those crits roll up on screen. And lastly, the cap explosion. That's cool. Probably want to recover from that. Yeah, feeling better now. Okay, I'm going to go for a more stealthy approach this time and hopefully not get spotted within 2 seconds. Alright, we'll do this quick and by the book, so as cheaply as possible. We'll activate slow motion and nail him in the head as much as possible. Maybe an extra critical here and there might do me well. And with all of that sneak critting, which I think it's still going. No, he's aggroed by our mysterious stranger friend, and now he's taking on some bugs. Yeah, they're not fun to deal with, bro. I gotta say, I know that the sound cutting out is pretty unimmersive. You could argue that it's very unimmersive. There's a little bit of charm for it cutting out there. It's just a little bit, the mod's a little bit rough around the edges, but I can appreciate what they've done so far, and there's potential here. You know, despite there not being a 100% grasp on the English language, I can get most of it. And the effort they've put in transcends whatever funny typos that you might find in the mod authors page or the things. Where are you going? It's weird. He's going full retreat mode, but as a leisurely stroll. Maybe one of his wings were crippled. Yes. But yeah, that was pretty good, but maybe we could do better. How could we do better? I don't know. Let's find out. So what's the only thing better than a suppressed minigun? Perhaps an explosive suppressed minigun. Yeah, and oi, stop harassing that Brahmin, you green pricks. Oh yeah. That's awesome. And I think that Brahmin's safe. Though he's running straight back to where he was getting shot from. Well, you know what they say, you can't fix stupid. You got those two heads, and there's still not enough room for intelligence in there. Never mind. I'm sure he'll be a quarter pounder at some point later on this Arvo, that Brahmin, but what can you do, eh? I don't even know why the super mutants are even attacking it. Like, why bother? Alright, I think that's that room cleared out, but this is all just small fish, small fries, both of them, small fish fries, because our real prey is not the Mirelurk Queen, but she'll go down pretty easy. Stop it. I care not for your mosquito bites during combat. I'm busy. Just put a bit of suppressing fire in there. Swap magazines. Our main target is going to be this fella. And wait till he gets a little bit closer. There we go. And we just slowly melt away his health until he dies. We're getting sneak criticals too. Oh, it's glorious. And just not enough to completely one mag him. If we threw some criticals in there, I'm sure we would have done the job just fine. But it's dead. Watch how accurate these spits are. It's coming in exactly where I was standing. You just witnessed me destroy a Mirelurk. Oh, they went the flashbang. It was almost an effective attack. If I was maybe another meter back, that probably would have stunned me for a moment. But then your days were numbered anyway. But now here's the perils of having a minigun like this in close quarters. You can't use it without dying, so instead we'll kill this Raider scum with a non-explosive variant. Righto, I think you get the point for this minigun. It's a really cool, powerful weapon, sort of endgame style. I do think that having the 50 cals do so little damage might be of detriment to this weapon because, well, you're just not going to get enough 50 cals to do an extended amount of damage to this thing. But you're not missing out on a whole lot of extra damage should you be using the 5mm rounds instead, so I suppose that's all fine. Obviously, no classic holstered weapons. It's far too big, and under normal circumstances, classic holstered weapons just doesn't... It's not set to show the heavy guns anyway, because they tend to clip a lot, and they're just hard to place, I suppose. But if you wanted to turn that on, it'd probably work, but it's such a gigantic thing, you'd probably just want it to go bye-bye, as it just completely disappears if you decide to put it away. But yeah, if you are interested in this thing, check out the link in the description. I believe this is a PC-only mod, but somewhere, somehow, maybe we could convince this guy to start porting his mods over to console, because they're pretty lightweight, and this kind of creativity, it doesn't grow on trees, so I'd be interested to see these things on console, even though I don't play it, but in the interest of sharing mods and stuff and having fun, then maybe we could convince him one way or another. But yeah, good mod, check it out if you want. Also, Lily's a follower as well. It doesn't come with a British accent yet, unfortunately, but maybe we'll get there one day. Thank you very much for watching, guys.